So welcome to the Ingram Micro Monthly Podcast. We are all Microsoft SureStep BDMs working across the Microsoft Cloud Stack. My name is Martyn Hall, and I will allow my colleagues to introduce themselves now.
Hello, my name is Mike Markey, one of the business development managers, and I'm sat within Modern Work and Security.
My name is Nicola Miller, and I am the Modern Workplace BDM that works for SureStep team.
Are you sure? You didn't sound so sure.
I'm not quite sure, to be fair.
We will get through this intro once without making a mistake, won't we? Hi everyone, I'm Steve Gray. I'm the Azure BDM, aligned from a SureStep perspective.
So what is SureStep? So SureStep's a global program from Microsoft, and the team consists of us four beautiful faces that you see within you today. And we cross Modern Workplace, Azure and Dynamics. And essentially our role is really here to enable our partners to support them selling through their Microsoft journey. And we act as a parachute motion, dropping in not only to support with sales opportunities, but also to help deliver training and enabling you to be more efficient and to sell more.
Excellent. So this month, just so that everyone knows, we will be covering off the community calls as we do each month. We will also be discussing a little bit more about IURs and competency changes as well. So shall we jump into that shared topic of IURs first off then, guys?
I think so. It's I think it was a welcome change from ourselves. And for those who actually don't know, what is an IUR?
I'm so glad you said that, because I thought some people are going to be listening going, what?
They're talking in acronyms.
No, straight away. So who wants to explain the IURs? What is one?
Internal use rights licenses that you receive with your competency from Microsoft. So if you're an Action Pack, Silver or Gold member, you will get some licenses that are assigned to yourself for you to use internally, hence internal use right licenses.
So looking through these, I was actually with a partner, having the conversation around what you'd actually get with the membership. And as we were deep diving in, we'd noticed that some of the resource had been updated, and there was a number of licenses which were actually coming in, but then some which were going out. So, and the ones which are coming in gave a lot of people big smiles on their faces. I know, Martyn, you were definitely one of those with the big smiles.
So I think for the last probably 2 years, partners have been crying out for Business Central IURs. So it's really, really good to see that they've introduced that now. It was interesting because it was like there was no explanation on how you'd get those IURs, but it was really good to see that now.
It's, and Nicola, of the licenses which came in, which one are you most excited for?
I'm excited for Microsoft 365 Business Premium because you get the team's voice with it as well. So I think it's great for rather than having sort of enterprise grade licenses, everyone can kind of touch and feel actually what the licenses can do, use them, and naturally you're going to evangelize a product that you actually use on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, it's and Steve, obviously there's not really been much change with any Azure licenses coming in at all, so kind of
silence.
Yeah,
That's good to say.
But
Need to wake up.
Have you had any partners yourself that you've been speaking to that have noted these to you, or what's your thoughts on the licenses coming and going out?
I think it's a good thing. Obviously, the fact that Microsoft 365 is a topic that we like to sell as a sort of bundle SKU, having all of the elements separately was always a bit messy, whereas having it as one particular license, I think will help everyone going forward. Obviously, I don't flag these as much, but I have been obviously telling people of the changes, even though it's nothing to do with us. There's no additional Azure revenue, as it were. But anyway, I'll let you lot talk about that bit, and that's as much information as you're going to get from me. Yeah.
Well, the dynamic SKUs are going to drive as your consumption anyway, so you might as well start selling that to your partners.
But no freebies.
No, it's but I think the main key message that I've been kind of conveying, is a lot of people that I speak with use these for kind of spinning up demo environments in house and testing out certain things, and essentially, if you don't change these licenses over, you may experience some downtime in these customer environments that you're looking to test and spin up. So making sure that you've actually actioned these changes sooner rather than later, because the Office 365 licenses that you were granted, they actually be revoked. They're revoked as of April 2021. And if it goes anything like 2020 went, you know, it'll be round the corner within a blink of the eye. It went that fast. So yeah, that's the main message I've been conveying anyway with my partners.
Thing is, you've got the Office 365 E3 currently. There is a Microsoft 365 E3 and a Microsoft 365 E5. The best thing probably to do is have a look either at your internal use rights licenses. If you look in there, you'll ping up a PDF essentially. For every competency, you get different licenses assigned. So the best thing to do is probably just go back through and check. Obviously, you're going to get more in terms of if you are using the Microsoft 365 E5 license, because you're going to get absolutely everything. However, if you are more targeted at an SMB, then it makes more sense for you to have that SKU. So essentially, you're utilising it and using it every day, so you understand it. It's always the best way to, when you're looking at supporting and selling things, is actually understanding exactly what you're doing.
1,000,000%. And Martyn, if people do not know where they can access these IURs or the PDF to find out what they do or don't get, who can they speak to?
Speak to us.
Ghostbusters.
Speak to us. Yeah, and what we'll do in the description, we'll drop a link directly to the page that talks you through, because there is a link there to say to find out more about your benefits. Click on here.
Yeah, I think so.
So on the IURs, my question, because I saw the dynamics piece and looked into that quite heavily. On everything else, were there any changes to competencies that followed as well?
I haven't really seen anything in the competency space apart from the small mid-market cloud change to include the business applications SMB option. So that then grants your Dynamics 365 Business Central license.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is, I mean, that's introducing it's essentially a Dynamics competency, but it's put into the modern workplace portion of the competencies all up. Now Dynamics people are going to be really familiar with PCI, because that's coming into play in April. But for anybody else, PCI is a lovely index scoring system to show how good you are at implementing Dynamics. And you have to have a score of 60 to achieve silver status and a score of 80 or more to achieve gold status. So you need to fill your score up based on how many functional consultants you've got, how many developers you've got, and how much revenue you're selling in Dynamics as well. So don't just think it's like your other small and mid-market cloud, sell X amount of Office licenses and get the competency. There is quite a hefty learning requirement against the small and mid-market cloud SMB option. But the reward on that is you get some Business Central licenses to use internally as well.
Yeah, no, and there's one more thing I have just spotted just prior to us today. Dynamics for Talent. There is an add-on coming soon into these IURs as well. I don't know if you knew that, Martyn.
I hadn't spotted that.
Yeah, it's no exact date. It just says brackets coming soon, big bold letters. So yeah, for anyone who uses Dynamics 365 for Talent, your add-on is around the corner, apparently. So
probably just a handful of people out there.
Yeah.
Probably take a pinch of salt round the corner. You just never quite know when.
Yeah.
So what happened on the community calls this month for you guys?
Steve, do you want to go first? Because you've been quite quiet. Yeah.
I was going to say I might need a drink of water before I start, because I've been so quiet. My mouth will be so dry. Yes, with it being December's January's podcast, it was a bit of a sort of refresher for the start of the year. So there was an sort of refresher on the SMB sales plays. So what Microsoft covered, I think it was in October's podcast community call, was they had created some sales scenarios for Azure, which was all the different areas that you would be working with your customers on. They'll be looking at some of the customers' pain points in those areas, so it may be on backup, disaster recovery, working remotely, working securely as a topic, work out some of the pain points, what the solution was from a cloud perspective, what those workloads would look like, and also some of the consumption or margin that you could create if you create a service within that area. And what Microsoft did is they created a load of slides which had that customer challenges, what the sort of overcoming objections guide was for each of those areas. And also there was a lot of resource to go alongside that. So there was customer pitch decks, email templates, campaigns, and there were working remotely and working securely were a cross-cloud opportunity. But from our perspective, it was covered on the Azure call, so I'm going to focus on the Azure side of things. But if you haven't seen them before, get in touch and we can go through all of those resources with you to help drive those topics of conversation with your customers. Next, we had a Cloud Ascent demo, which is probably relevant for all of us once again.
Yep.
And that was specifically a demo of where to find it in your partner center. So a couple of months ago, Insights was added as a tab on the left-hand side. If you haven't seen it, some people will have the full Insights tab, some will still see as beta. And there was a demo given on where you can find some information about your customers, our current customers in there, how to download the files, and how to spot opportunities off the back of it. I'm not going to go into detail on Cloud Ascent because we probably mentioned it about 12 times in the last 4 months. But if you do want a follow-up demo or where to find that information now that it's moved into your partner center, get in touch and we can have that demo with you by your relevant cloud. And then finally, there was touching again on Azure Assist. So I touched on proof of concept funding before, solution assessment and demand response. But there was a Windows Virtual Desktop offer that's been launched at the beginning of January. That runs until the 31st of March 2021. And what it is a 30% discount on the compute costs for D series and BS series virtual machines, as long as they're used as part of a Windows Virtual Desktop host pool. Now that 30% discount is for 90 days from the time of when you activate it. And that can only be used, obviously, one subscription per customer. But if you do have any current opportunities that you're thinking from Windows Virtual Desktop perspective, there's potentially some cost savings for that first 90-day period. If you need to push that opportunity along a little bit, get in touch and we can assist you in that journey of making sure that happens to take advantage of that discount before the offer runs out. But apart from that, speed talking, that was it. That was covered on the call from my perspective. So I'll go silent in the background again.
You don't have to stay silent, you know, Steve.
I'm going to get up and go and get coffee.
The business applications one actually had similar sort of stuff with the cross-cloud campaigns and stuff, but actually two big things they shouted out, and I'm surprised that Modern Work didn't talk about this actually, was one of them being certification renewal process. So if you've currently got one of the role-based certifications from MS Learn, they're going to introduce a renewal process for them. The renewal process is going to be free and it's going to be a simplified assessment, but it stops these certifications staying there forever with someone and makes sure that they stay relevant at all times, which I thought was quite cool. And the other one was the Microsoft Business Applications Power Platform resources page. Lovely mouthful. So you guys are probably, I know you guys have seen it on CDX. You've got different environments and different licenses you can spin up. But actually, there's a similar one now launched for Power Platform. So if someone wants to play around with Power Platform in more depth, whether it be Power Apps, Power BI, Power Virtual Agents, or Power Automate, you can do the whole lot on there. And it'll have some scripted demos that you'd be able to do to end customers on there as well. So you should see this in the description. The link for it will follow. Just have a little play around with that one. Cool.
Just before we kick off with the Modern Workplace updates for this, I just wanted to bring you back to the certifications because ultimately the CoOp was rolled over from a Microsoft standpoint. And if you are in the position where you still have some co-op left as a Microsoft partner and you're struggling where to spend this co-op, you can actually leverage these funds to put towards exams. So it's classed as partner readiness. Okay. Now with some of the exams at the moment, if you've had anybody that has been furloughed throughout the COVID era, as we probably call it now these days, or economically impacted, some of the exams you can actually schedule for $15 US. If you knew that, if you didn't already, there's the information. The only kind of prerequisite to that is you have to book it and take it before the end of March 31st this year, so 2021. But yeah, just on the co-op / certification side, you know, that's available for you if you wasn't sure of it.
One thing I probably will add with that is that Microsoft have extended it due down to obviously the pandemic. I wouldn't take it into account that it's going to happen again this half. So it's kind of a, I'd say take it as a once in a lifetime option if you've not spent it. The rollover is not something that normally happens. So you've obviously got this co-op fund going live as of the 15th of February. You'll have the end to the end of June to actually utilise that and spend it. So if you don't know how to spend it, more than happy to go through and tell you how you can spend your money. That's not an issue.
And Steve, what happens if you don't spend that co-op? Because obviously it's in a bucket, sat there for the partner, isn't it?
Disappears. You use it or lose it. So you won't get it paid as cash if you don't use it. Obviously, I think it's going to be difficult time as it was the first payment sort of window for CSP indirect resellers. The earning was obviously H2 of Microsoft, January to June last year. The first payment window, people weren't obviously aware of it. Some people didn't even know it existed. So make sure if you're unaware and you are claiming incentives currently, double check in your partner centre under the incentives tab that you haven't got some CoOp in there unspent. Obviously, you will still be earning from the last half that would still be going in. But if you do want clarity on that, get in touch, because as Mike alluded to there, it is use it or lose it. You will not get that back as a rebate payment should you not spend it.
Yeah.
So would it go on your next yacht fund, would it, Steve? Obviously, your nice little yacht in the background.
This is the fund for downloading an image of a yacht.
And that period where Steve said you'd use it or lose it, that finishes 15th of February. So that was the first period of kind of the dates, you know. So yeah, make sure that's in there. If you're not sure though, reach out to us and we can kind of talk you through that, what it looks like. And as Nicola said, she'll take you on a spending spree.
More than happy to spend your money. That's not an issue, believe me.
Yeah. So Nicola, modern work and security, what went down this community call?
So we had some updates with regards to SharePoint. So SharePoint now has over 200 million users, and that's really probably supported. And we are now, again, for the 4th year running, Gartner's Content Service Platform Magic Quadrant leader, which again is a slight mouthful. So obviously, you know, we all know that SharePoint pretty much runs, is obviously Teams is really pushing those numbers forward. Teams has come forward in absolutely leaps and bounds from this time last year. I would probably say we're probably looking at another 100 million added on compared to where we are, probably like for like year on year. So with that, 200 million users is a lot. Any thoughts on that?
I was going to say.
I thought you wanted to say something.
Yeah, the numbers are absolutely astounding, and there's no doubt that Teams adoption has increased over the year. Martyn, question to yourself and thoughts on it. With the Dynamics 365 integration into Teams, do you think that's had much of an influence on the monthly active users?
I think there's probably been a little bit of an impact on that, driving that. I think there's been more of it's been driven through Power Platform and working from home. Organizations are again a lot better at where they'd store their content. So SharePoint's at the top of that list, but actually how they use that information, they're starting to adopt Power Platform more and more as well.
Yeah.
So if you're doing things like approval flows, for instance, that's one of the common ones. like integrated with SharePoint, and more companies are adopting that as part of their business processes. So it doesn't surprise me that yes, Teams adoption has driven the numbers, but it is more outside of it that keeps driving those numbers as well.
Yeah, because it's definitely the kind of the route of how you'd use Teams, and it's not exactly a straight and narrow path. It's very, very windy. There's lots of different avenues. I actually seen one of the updates though around kind of Teams and things on there. Was one of the Power BI updates. So there's a lot of templates for Teams calling now, and particularly call quality dashboard integration. So what you've actually got available for yourself, and this is for you as a partner, or you can actually put it onto your customers' tenant, is you can actually view all of these different call quality dashboards, and it kind of gives you that canned reporting, which it looks really interesting actually. You know, Power BI is not something I use overly like a lot. I don't use it that often, but from what I've seen screenshot wise, it looks really interesting. Any thoughts on that one?
I think it's another example of Teams, and in terms of how we're pushing it forward and the new capabilities and the quality. It's not only new stuff that we're adding, it's actually adding the quality to it as well. So it's good that the combined sort of Teams Power BI is all merging together, and it makes it again that more bit collaborative, doesn't it? It saves it making it being disjointed, making it more seamless.
Yeah, it's and the kind of seamless experience, and it's not very seamless, but transition into one of the other updates is one around a Starbucks integration. So Nicola, tell us about it, because I know you're a bit of a Starbucks fiend.
Well, I thought you wanted. Well, I am, but you seem really excited, and you've downloaded the app already. So
you're going to tell me now that I can order Starbucks from my Teams?
Not so
delivery.
Much. Yeah, so I wish it's more. Let's say if we did a really good job by hosting this podcast, you know, we could be rewarded by somebody with the higher up powers with that credit card to kind of show their appreciation to us. And you can actually do that yourselves within your own business as well. So someone's done a fantastic job, especially with the working from home scenario. It's not like you can go, come on, Joe Blogs, let's go and get a coffee. You can actually, you know, grant that Starbucks gift voucher now through Teams to show your appreciation, which I think is really, really cool. You know, it's that step in a direction which kind of helps give that person a boost every now and then, you know. So
you might just want to, like, somebody's having a down day or something along those lines, you know, and go and cheer them up. They can go and get themselves a nice, I don't know what you'd have what's seasonal this time of year. It was eggnog lattes last month, but like we've gone from pumpkin spice lattes to eggnog lattes and then into what?
Hot chocolate for me every day of the week, nothing else. What's your choice, Steve, of a hot drink from Starbucks?
Today, Steve?
Coffee. Any coffee. It's January, isn't it? So there's people that are not having the alcoholic drinks and sticking with the hot drinks. Coffee is the only way to get you through, I think. It's remote working. It's coffee to keep obviously work and looking after the kids and teaching them. Luckily, I've got them locked downstairs, so they're quiet for half an hour. But yes, coffee is required, if not something stronger.
Sure, that can be arranged in the Starbucks appreciation app.
Yeah, we'll wait till after the podcast before I mention what else.
It's last quarter, so not so much the Microsoft perspective, but us at Ingram, we had +1 upsell kind of training with Business Premium. Now to kind of that's coming around again this quarter, but not to kind of go side by side with this, but Microsoft are actually granting a couple of workshops. So Microsoft 365 Accelerate, and it's helping to accelerate your business growth through managed services with Business Premium. There's actually 4 topics which you can register for, and they begin this week on the 28th of January. To find out more about those, you can go to aka.ms/accelerate with M365 BP, and those workshops are grow your revenue and profits from a work from home or work anywhere in the world, deliver next level managed security services by mapping cybersecurity frameworks, an IT checklist for securing a work from anywhere environment, and a practical guide to having a customer conversation on security, so kind of the tools, assessments and things. For myself, the one I'm more interested in, that one, and I don't know about anybody else, but it's the securing a work from anywhere environment, that IT checklist, because I know security is a big point at the moment, especially people logging onto the home routers and obviously thinking that they're all encompassing and all secure and things. Any thoughts on that one? What do people think about their working at home security?
I think a lot of people take it for granted, don't they?
Yeah.
They've got their device. Business has given them their device. Ta-da! All done.
Yeah. And what's the real case? Has anyone kind of spotted any security breaches or anything at all?
So obviously there's a lot of phishing emails and stuff along those lines. I mean, it's not just that. To be fair though, that's not just for work. It's obviously on your mobiles as well. So I think in terms of when it comes down to anything security, I think we have to be so vigilant these days in terms of what it is, and just looking out for, actually look at the track of actually who's actually sent the email. Is there any spelling mistakes, stuff along those lines? Just very simple things, and just, is it titled to yourself or is it just a generic title? Those kind of things are so big, and just very simple steps that you can take, and just kind of applying those filters before you actually go and press that magical link that then can sort of open up Pandora's box, really. So I think that, like, we are getting so many through, but obviously we do have certainly within Microsoft 365 Business Premium or those lines, you do get security that is built in, but as you say, it doesn't stop everything if you've got it coming through your router and stuff along those lines at home.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's more it's the education piece, isn't it? Ensuring that people are keeping themselves and their passwords safe. Normally the security can be as tight as it is, but ensuring MFA is enabled, things like that, just in case something lets slip. Obviously, I think on all three of our partner calls, was something we didn't mention was the
Solorigate.
Yes. Yeah. And it was just touched upon briefly around just ensuring your customers have been protected from any breaches that have been made. Get in touch with us. We've got a load of customer guidance for some of the attacks that have been going on. What you can do with your customers to ensure that they're safe from that, and that they haven't been breached or they won't be breached moving forward. We've got plenty of guides around Azure Sentinel and how that can help. Microsoft 365 Defender, Azure Defender. But yeah, I'm not going to touch on all the security bit because it went into quite a lot of depth from my perspective on the technical elements of it, which I won't bore you with right now. But if you do have any concerns, get in touch, and we've got a load of resource.
What I can do, in the link below, Microsoft have actually put a YouTube, so it's about 32-minute video on, and it's basically using Microsoft 365 Defender to protect against Solorigate. So if it is something that you are finding some of the binaries that are in there, making sure that actually it shows you how really you can defend yourself and protect against this Solorigate instances, which seem to be we kind of were spotted really on the 13th of December, so it's quite new.
It's for me, working from anywhere in the world, usually from on my couch, the most important thing around the security, it's kind of been one of the key binds which I'm going to train everybody on the call to use. We're not going to press it because otherwise we'll come out of this podcast and then we won't get anywhere, but Windows and L. So I'll give you the reason why. That'll lock your device, but how many of you have got either children, young children at home, pets? You press a wrong button or you walk away from your laptop, those pets are straight onto your keyboard. They could tap any keys. I know when I've been sending an email and I've thought I'd clicked on it and it's randomly opened up a website, and yeah, it's Windows and L just locks your computer. First stage of security is always with the user, so make sure you are securing yourselves. So,
and that goes for when you're working in the office as well, really. So if you are walking away from a lot of office policies are making sure that actually your laptops are locked when you are moving away from it when we do get back into the office.
Yeah. And then last update from Modern Workplace was a couple of licensing updates. Do you have those, Nicola, or do you want me to talk through those?
You can do those because I don't know which ones you're on about, if I'm being honest with you.
Well, there was a lot, to be fair. So I've only really picked out kind of the holistic view of the licensing because there was a lot to go through. So if you want any further information, like Steve said before, reach out because we won't bore you with it on here. But around that kind of the compliance focus. So with the E5 value prop, it's forever increasing. And those add-on bundles just keep getting stronger and stronger. So as of February 1st, 2021, there's more features within the bundles for compliance being added. If you do want more information, reach out for that, the E5 value prop kind of thing, to either myself or Nicola, and we'll talk you through what they look like. And that was everything on Modern Workplace that I had. I don't know about you, Nicola.
You can have a look on the AKMS service descriptions, and that gives you a really nice link in terms of actually what's been added from 2019 until August or autumn, not August, autumn 2020, because I'm reading it as full, that's why. So, but yeah, so in terms of that, you'll see in terms of what's been added. And I think it really shows actually the investment that Microsoft are putting into security and compliances and making sure that actually you are getting everything, the best of everything that we can possibly be.
Cool. So I think that's kind of bringing us to a close now, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
So
I think so.
I think that's it from us for this month. As always, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us on LinkedIn. For those of you watching on YouTube, the slide is on the screen. You'll be able to see that. Ask us any questions, sharing topics you'd like us to discuss in the future. And other than that, that's it for now, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time.
Bye.
And we'll make sure we give Steve some coffee next month.
Yeah.